Andrew Wiggins trade rumors with the Los Angeles Lakers are officially back. Yes, the Miami Heat are 11-6 as of filming this video, but that is not stopping the reports coming out that Wiggins could be a trade candidate prior to the NBA trade deadline in February. I'm Nick Roloff. This is the Heat Report by Chat Sports, and I will say this before we get into the nitty-gritty of today's show. I will go on record to say I am absolutely fine trading Andrew Wiggins before the deadline this year, even if Miami continues to play well, if someone is offering the right package. I'll explain why and what a package from the Lakers could look like that would make me intrigued enough to accept it on today's show. So let's get started. It's no secret. Coming into the year, Miami's season could have gone one or two ways. It could either surprise people and contend in the East, or it could have gone ugly and Miami ultimately becomes sellers at the deadline, trading veterans like Norman Powell and Andrew Wiggins. Well, through the first 17, 18 games of the season, it looks to be the former, to where Miami is playing at a very high level. They look like one of the more underrated and teams in the NBA, especially in the East, that is wide open, that could really contend to maybe make the NBA Finals. Now, win the NBA Finals, I won't go that far right now. Maybe a move could be made between now and that trade deadline that changes my belief in that, because I don't know if they'd be able to beat the Nuggets or Thunder in the Finals if they met them. But in the East, yeah, they could absolutely compete. But I do think trading Wiggins could make a lot of sense. But let's talk about what the report is. And it's coming from Jake Fischer, who has been a lot more credible over the last 6-7 months since he teamed up with Mark Stein. He said that we've known for some time that the Lakers know they need some improvements on the wing. Andrew Wiggins has been a name that they are monitoring if Miami were to make him available. And I do think they should make him available. And when I say make him available, this is not me saying, oh, let's go trade Andrew Wiggins. Let's get rid of him. No, that's not what I'm saying here. Being available is, hey, our phone's open. You call and mention the name Andrew Wiggins. We're not hanging up right away. We will listen to what you have to say, listen to an offer, but we're ultimately only going to move him if the package coming back to Miami is the right package. I'm not shopping him, but I'm willing to listen. Wiggins has been pretty solid for the Heat this season in 15 games. He has been starting every time he's been on the floor. He's shooting relatively efficient from the field, 36.5% from three. And he's been solid defensively as well as on the glass. There's no debating that. But there is a lot of things to me that frustrate me with Andrew Wiggins' game. One of it is his shot selection. That drives me up an absolute wall at times. And number two is his turnovers. I think he has a turnover issue, especially when he tries to put the ball on the deck. I don't really think he has a handle whatsoever. So when he gets it in the flow of the offense on putbacks, catch and shoots, that's fine. All that is good. But when he's forced to create, it gets ugly real quick. And as we continue today's show, we are under 100 subscribers from a massive milestone on the channel, 26,000 subscribers. Join the channel for Heat coverage every single day. Watch party starting to ramp up as well. Let's get to 26K on today's show. And I think there's a interesting thought that I want to share with all of you. But first, I want to go through some stats before I get to that point. When you look at Andrew Wiggins' advanced stats this season, yeah, his box score numbers were fine, but he actually is a net rating this season, negative 1.7, and a true shooting percentage of 56%, which really isn't that good. And the thought that I have here through the first 2-3 weeks of the year is I am not sure that Andrew Wiggins is the reason why the Miami Heat win a lot of their games this season. I do think, though, he can become the reason they lose. What do I mean by that? Well, when you watch the Heat play, there are players that clearly elevate the ceiling of Miami as well as their ability to win. The top 4 players this season for Miami that have elevated the play, I would say, in no order, Norman Powell, Bam Adebayo, Kel'el Ware, and Davion Mitchell. When those 4 are playing well, the Heat, you're not going to beat them. But when Andrew Wiggins plays well, I don't really think it's a guarantee that the Heat will win that game. But as I mentioned with some of those other guys, if they play well, the Heat are probably going to win that game. But when Andrew Wiggins plays poorly, I think it is very reflective of the Heat's play. Like when he struggles, oh boy, it is really bad, and the Heat ultimately lose. Like you see here, the variance on Andrew Wiggins this year is so wide. Like in the Heat wins, obviously he's going to have a good net rating, really good defensive rating, 7.0. But in those losses, the defensive rating skyrockets, the offensive rating is horrible, and the net rating is 13.9, negative that is. So like yeah, obviously in losses it's going to be down because you're losing those games, and wins it's going to be up, but I just think the fact that it's gone so much more in the negative is just a testament to how much the Heat will struggle when he plays bad. But when he plays good, it's not like the Heat are going to go crazy really good and win every game. Like Wiggins plays some CTE ball, man. And it goes back to the shot selection, goes back to the turnovers. When he tries to put the ball on the deck and drive to the rim, like he will ultimately either drive into three people, take a contested step back 15-footer, which is the worst analytical shot in all of the game of basketball, or he will try to dribble and go up into three people and just turn the ball over because he has no handle. Like, those are the plays that drive me up a wall. The good with Wiggins is his rebounding and his ability to hit, catch, and shoot threes. His negatives is when they ask him to do anything on the offensive end. And his defense is solid, but it's not like so elite to where I'm not willing to listen to trade offers, is what I'm trying to say here. But let me get your thoughts before we continue. Pin comment. Are you fine trading Andrew Wiggins if you were to get the right package in return? Type Y for yes or type N for no. I clearly am, but I want to highlight another couple of reasons why I do before I talk about a potential trade with the Los Angeles Lakers. Wiggins has 1 year left on his deal that is guaranteed. Then he has a player option next season at $30.1 million. Let's be honest here. Andrew Wiggins is going to opt into that contract because there's no chance he earns a contract from another team in NBA free agency worth $30 million per season, guaranteed. So Wiggins will likely be here in Miami next year at $30.1 million. Andrew Wiggins is a fine, good player. Is he worth $30 million? I don't think he is, especially in this new CBA where you're going to have to pay Bam Adebayo max money. You're going to have to potentially extend Tyler Hero. What are you going to do with Norman Powell, who's a free agent this upcoming offseason? Are you going to be able to pay Powell if you're paying Wiggins $30 million? No, probably not. And we all can agree we'd rather have Norman Powell than Andrew Wiggins because of how good Norman Powell has been in this Heat system this season. And there's just more evidence stacking up onto why I believe trading Wiggins isn't the worst thing in the world. Does it impact Miami a little bit defensively and on the glass? Maybe. But with the emergence of Paul Larson this season and Tyler Hero returning, to me, it makes Wiggins expendable because you can go in so many different directions with how you want to create your lineup. You can go with a guard-heavy lineup where it's Davion Mitchell, Tyler Hero, Norman Powell, and then go big with Khalil Ware and Bam in the front court. Those two have looked really good together over the past 3 or 4 games. Or you can go a little bit bigger and put Paul Larson in, put Davion Mitchell to the bench, go Hero, Powell, Larson, Bam, and Ware. Like, you can have those two different lineups, but the emergence of Larson, the revelation that he has become this season, makes Wiggins very expendable. Because if he was struggling this year, well, then it's like, okay, you get rid of Wiggins, well, your wing depth is really, really light. You still have Jovic and Hawkins off the bench, but who's starting, and is it going to be a balanced lineup like it was beforehand? But if Larson is playing at the level he continues to play at, well, then you can use him as that starting wing. If you trade Wiggins, you could also bring him off the bench. But you also can't forget here, you're probably going to get something in return for Andrew Wiggins that you can at least utilize on a night-to-night basis. So, to me, I think trading Wiggins isn't the craziest thing in the world, despite Miami playing really well to begin the season. And let's talk about a Lakers trade here in a second. But this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The holiday season is here, and it's the best time of year for sports. Bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes, all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, what game to watch, there is one place where it feels good to be right: Prize Picks. I've had so much fun playing this season. I've had so much fun playing last season. whether it is picking more on fantasy score, three-pointers made. It's so fun. And there's a new feature alert as well, folks. PrizePicks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. Is your fantasy season already over in football? Well, you can get in and on the action every weekend by doing some PrizePicks. You can also go daily in the basketball world. I got something for Monday Night Football, more than Christian McCaffrey receiving yards, more than Ted McMillan touchdowns. That is my entry for 49ers, Panthers, Monday Night Football. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Let's start here before we dissect a Lakers trade package and why Los Angeles is the team that makes the most sense for Andrew Wiggins, but also is the team that could go after him the hardest, and why the report from Jake Fischer came out. Well, in the offseason, let's remember, the Lakers were heavily rumored to be a team trying to trade for Andrew Wiggins. And it was also reported that the Heat and Lakers held trade talks during the NBA draft or around that time. Now, nothing came to fruition. Miami allegedly wanted Rui Hachimura, another expiring contract, Dalton Connect, and a first-round pick. The Lakers were unwilling to meet that price point, although I said I completely agree with that price point. The Lakers, who are second in the West right now, 12-4, look extremely elite, just got LeBron James back. If they want to compete with the Oklahoma City Thunder and Denver Nuggets in the playoffs this upcoming summer, well, they're going to need another wing defender. That's the one glaring issue the Lakers have. They just do not have defense on the wing. They have elite offense, LeBron, Luka, Reeves, Ayton. But who is that wing defender that they have? You don't have one. You don't. Wiggins would fill that void, but also not provided offensive drop-off, right? So here is my trade offer that I would be willing to accept. Like I said, I'm not offering this to Los Angeles. But if the Lakers wanted to trade for Andrew Wiggins, this is what I would need. Bare minimum. If they want to send more, you send more. But this is what I would be willing to take at the absolute bottom, bare minimum. It would be Rui Hachimura, Maxi Kleber, a 2031 unprotected first-round pick. I want that abundantly clear. Unprotected. And then you can get Mr. Andrew Wiggins. And you might say, Nick, that's not enough. Well, I actually disagree. I think that is very fair. I don't think it's an overpay from Los Angeles. I think it's fair. I think it's just for both teams. If the Heat were fine moving on Wiggins, it makes tons of sense. Because Rui Hachimura actually has been very good this season. We showed you the numbers for Andrew Wiggins a little bit earlier, and just off the raw box score, Rui Hachimura's numbers in the same amount of games played this season, actually better, like 1.9 points per game less, but averages about 8% better shooting from the field and shooting 13% better from three, 48%. Now, the volume isn't that high. He only launches about 3 and change a game, but Rui has been phenomenal feeding off of the dimes from Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. So he would be able to come in, probably wouldn't start him, bring him off the bench, though, and be a nice little stretch four that can help you rebound, can fit in this flow state type of offense that is very derived off drive, kick, catch and shoot threes. Like, Wiggins is without a doubt better than Rui Hachimura, but to me, I don't think the downgrade from Wiggins to Rui is so bad that I wouldn't do it for a first-round pick. You know what I mean? Like, if you're telling me I can downgrade from Wiggins to Hachimura and pick up an unprotected first-round pick, yeah, I'm going to do that. But would you do that? A for accept or D for decline? Lakers offer you in late January Rui, Kleber, unprotected 2031 first for Wiggins. What do you say? A for accept or D for decline? I said I would accept. Here's some reasons why, other than what I just kind of laid out there. I talked about getting a first-round pick. I don't think the downgrade in player is that massive. Well, you're also getting $29 million in expiring salary. And that is big in my opinion. And we talk a lot about expiring salary for Miami and them hunting for the next quote-unquote superstar to hit free agency. That will never happen. But you know what will happen? Norman Powell hitting free agency. And if you want to extend Norman Powell and keep him in Miami without going deep into the luxury tax, Well, this $29 million in expiring could be massive. Rui's got $18 million in a 1-year deal left, and Maxi Kleber's got $11 million left. So if you don't have to pay Andrew Wiggins $30 million next season and you get that $30 million off of your books heading into the offseason, well, you can just allocate that money off the books to Norman Powell. So you're basically trading Andrew Wiggins for Rui and Kleber this season, but for the future, you're basically swapping next season Andrew Wiggins for Norman Powell, but you're also netting a first-round pick. That is something I'm willing to do, especially with the implications that come with owning another first-round pick. One, it could be a very valuable first-round pick in 2031. LeBron will absolutely be retired. Who knows what happens with Luka and Austin Reeves long-term in Los Angeles? That could ultimately be a lottery pick in 2031 from the Lakers. That could be a real coveted pick around the league. But also, if you get that pick, that allows Miami to trade 3 first-round picks at the deadline. So if you make that trade 2 weeks before the deadline, you could then trade 3 first-round picks before that deadline for like a Lauri Markkanen or something like that. And it would allow you to trade for this offseason, right? You would be able to trade 2028, 2030, one of your 2031s, and then 2020 or 2032, or 2029, 2031, 2020, or both 2031s, excuse me, and then 2023 or 33. I can't get my fucking numbers right. It's driving me nuts. Either way, 4 potential first-round picks to trade this offseason. To me, Rui isn't that big of a downgrade to Wiggins. You get the financial flexibility, and you get the draft capital. To me, I would do it, even if Miami continues to play well. And we'll have you covered with all pieces of trade news, rumors, and more around this Heat team. Tyler Hero makes his debut tonight. Unfortunately, won't be live. I'll be on a flight to Fort Myers, Florida for Thanksgiving. But I'll be keeping tabs on it, and I'll have you updated with a video/short later tonight. So make sure you hit that sub button.